Professor Charanjit Singh Shah, architect, planner, and infrastructure expert with 5 decades of practice. He's an author, scholar, educationist, teacher, art and architecture critic, practicing in creating sustainable green architecture. He is author of many books in architecture and recently authored Redefining Indian Sustainable Smart Cities. His work speaks of his contribution looking beyond architecture and development of large infrastructure projects like airport, metro, railway station, transit-orient development, intermodal hub, and creating a sustainable, walkable, cyclable neighborhood and creating Indian sustainable smart cities of tomorrow. He is being adorably called as Airport King. Few of his projects are the Chennai Airport, Raipur Airport, Goa Airport, and so much more. So I'd like to welcome our Airport King to address the gathering.
Namaskar, good morning and Sat Sri Akal. And today here we are celebrating the great World's Architecture Day. I feel so proud to be here with you. And today we'll talk about what is all architecture about and the legend like my friend whom I adore. He's given his life for architecture. Perhaps when I started my journey, even I didn't know how to spell out architecture, how to speak architecture. It's how you penetrate into the attitude of mind, bringing the aptitude, the passion. It's like Abdul Kalam said, dream, transforms into thought, thought into vision, vision into reality. How this happens, how you think of the dreams and how it is visualized into a thought, thought into a vision, vision and transforming into reality. That's with God's grace. And can you just keep on, because I have a lot of slides and I have many more speakers. So, it's creating sustainability and beyond. How do you create sustainable architecture, which perhaps we say green? My friends, all buildings are platinum rated green, sir. And when I see your hotel, I see your building, I admire them. I appreciate them. How you create net zero sustainable architecture. So, now it's about 54th year of my journey into practice. Next, please. Its architecture perhaps is for 3 P's, is for the place, for the people, and for the purpose. How do you address the place, its heritage, its belongingness, the purpose? This needs to be addressed so that what I create has a belonging next to me. I say, yes, this is my baby. This is what I have created. So that is the architecture which blossoms and where we generally say, yes, next please, it's like people, place, region, heritage in creating an Indian architecture. Next is what is sustainable in the form of passive strategies of green architecture, economics and the net zero. Next. And then of course we need smarter and we need to address how the global intervention, the technology, science, all that is engulfed into today's, I say, Indian sustainable smart human settlement. How do you create that? How the interface between all this happens? Next. So this is how we see that we want to create sustainable architecture, walkable cities. Perhaps that is our dream out. But when we go on the road, we don't find pathways. We are directionless. We have no spaces which we can very comfortably say, oh, these are good public spaces, where we feel that we are part of those spaces. Next. Now you see how these are some of my projects, photographs like Chennai Airport, Jamshedpur City, Times Square Mall, Bell Factory, all these we call them as net zero campuses where net zero energy, net zero in water, net zero in solid waste management. Next. But next please, how do you see that? So this body is of 5 elements. These are the 5 elements we are made of, and then we have 5 senses. The body is controlled by the 5 senses: what I see, what I listen, and then what I talk, and what I smell. Whatever I see, smell, and talk, that sound, everything according to the 5 elements of the body works, function. So therefore, next please, need to see how the interface of 5 elements, next please, the 5 senses, and how the 5 elements and the 5 senses shake hand with each other. Next. And then there are 5 vices and there are 5 virtues. How you create an architecture which is away from the 5 vices and which is nearer to the 5 virtues, and that is the truest form of architecture, the human settlement, where I feel sensitizing with 5 senses. Next. So now these are the gears of design: senses, elements, and virtues. That is the purity of form, purity of thought, and purity of design. And that we call as organic architecture, not cosmetic architecture. The next. Same 5 senses through 9 doors, and we have the 10th door as our soul. Reach out to the 10th soul, the door, that is the soul, understanding the soul, and touch of soul is the purity of architecture. How do you create that where you have a touch of soul? Touch of soul is belongingness. You are practically engulfing that architecture as your own baby. We're talking yesterday. So that is the purity. And perhaps we need to talk to the soul. Reach out to the soul through the 9 doors. How you do that? Next. This is oneness of God. This perhaps is the universal touch which needs to be put into architecture. How do you perform that? Wherever I go, I feel so soothing, so comfortable, so meditating, vibrating, and then it's like repetitive and transformative. That is architecture which blossoms like a lotus. Next please. This is how the creator and the creation. We are like miniature God. We create and we happily see, yes, I live into my creation, godly. So in case every building is my child, and I am perhaps within my child, I practically live with my child itself. So next is like, design and nature. Next, and perhaps love nature, live nature. How do you understand the various elements of nature? Next is from Krishna. Perhaps Krishna we take a form, but Krishna is formless. Krishna is cosmic energy and I become Arjuna. Disciple of the cosmic energy, the universal power of oneness. How do you interface your spirituality into architecture? That is the purity, that's the love, adoration, romanticism of architecture. Perhaps can be the journey, the process of design goes through the various natural phenomena. You see nature, create nature, and that is what organic architecture is all about. Next, now heritage, nature. Next, please, can you just go over Vastu? We talk about next. I am not talking about phonetic Vastu. Northeast the lowest, southwest the highest. Maybe if the southwest is the power or the managing director will sit on the southwest the highest, and otherwise if your bed is on the north you will be ill, or if this is like this. No. But in case I understand the solar oscillation, the movement of the sun, the wind direction, perhaps the nature, and engulfing all those understanding where I'm designing, what is the climate like? Is it hot and dry? Is it hot and wet? Or it is like a cold climate? So according to the climatical condition, I see the oscillation and design and stimulate. Today the tools are there. You can stimulate the building and look into the various angles of the sun, the summer sun, the winter sun, and create that sort of a sustainable architecture which is meaningful. Not creating a glass tower and I say, oh, globally empowered building, and it's like an Empire State building, and I put it into Gurgaon or Chennai or somewhere else, and I feel very proud of. So it's like, what is the place, people, and the purpose of the building gets defeated if I put something from a cold climate to a hot climate. Then it becomes like madly copy pasting. We need to understand how we create that architecture. Can you just go back? This is, I just want, this is the northeast, which is the lowest, this is the southwest, which is the highest. Why? Northeast where the morning sun comes, the man folks said. Southwest is the bedroom, inside is the courtyard, and to cut the south and southwest sun and get a comfortable place in the courtyard is the basic principle of how you relate all these things. The great Vastu Shastras thinks on a critic basis, understanding why north is the lowest, why southwest is the highest. Next. So, taking the journey, landscape, how you layer the landscape. We're talking yesterday also. It's like peripheral landscape, the evergreen, trees to water bodies to shrubs to various other species of landscape which put into the surrounding of the building. Then wrapping the building, layering the building with some sort of fenestrelation, jali or whatever, and reducing the temperature from 46 to 28 or 26 degrees naturally. So that is what is passive ways of design. Next please. Next. So this is, I'm just trying to showcase you how the speed of the wind, velocity of the wind, and also by way of these penetrations of the landscape layers, you reduce the temperature. Next. This is how from 44 degrees you reach out to the building and you are at 26 degrees without any air conditioning. It's like passive ways. If you are able to create this sort of landscaping outside, which we call as negative space, you can create sustainable architecture. Next. Passive ways, active ways. Next please. Next. I'm just going a little faster because I am trying to from a micro level to micro level, from a small habitat, how you can expand to the large mega projects. Can you next please? This is how this was a carry in Gold Pahari, a staff housing by the people who give Graha rating. So how do you create architecture? Like, in hot and dry climate, you put the blocks as north and south and seeing the solar oscillation. How do you design? Next, please. So this is a small. I'm just trying to give you a concept. All the gray areas in this building are either a staircase or a kitchen or a toilet or a balcony. And the living areas are inside. As an architect, I'm designing, it's like layering the building, wrapping the building. I'm wrapping my living areas with the service areas, kitchen, toilet, staircase, and the heat coming from outside gets it's like insulation, and once the other areas become insulating and the living areas become cooler by way of design. So these are fundamentally, I'm just showcasing you there that these are all service areas, and my living area bedroom is already wrapped with layer, which becomes an insulating layer for the living area. Next, please. Next. This is how water body, other things we have tried to establish there. Next. Again, alternative ways, air tunnel system in the cooling. Next. The vertical green city at Polachi. How do you create, even vertical gardens. There Dr. Mahalingam and Polachi. We gave this proposal to them, and how do you connect alternate play or alternate floor? We have a street connecting all the towers with a street also, so that you connect at the upper level and also create vertical gardens and as if you are on the ground. Next. This is I will not go into detail. Next. Ananda housing in Tirpur, affordable housing. Next. NCUA building in New Delhi. Next. Again, based on oscillation, where there is a hard sun, block the sun, no windows. This is south, east, and west, and you block this. You have windows on the other side, so that the glare sun does not go inside your building. Next. Similarly, next please, HB Jessel building again, you see the overhang on the south side, you see the north as the lowest, and this is again platinum rated building at Panchkula. You can shape out building according to your choice, a elliptical building, a triangular building, but see that how the oscillation of sun works. Even here, because I need winter sun, I don't need summer sun. How do you see this? You need to understand, and this angle needs to be defined, and so that the winter sun comes in and the summer sun doesn't come in. So next please. All India building again in Jodhpur, again platinum rated. Next please. Next. This is how you have the steps on the northeast. Next. Times Square Mall. This is a non-air conditioned mall. Just based on basic Vastu Shastras and mutual shading, taking lead from Rajasthan, from Jaipur to Jodhpur to other places, mutual shading. How you can be comfortable. Next. This is how it has been done in Naya Raipur. Next. Again, they see this from here in Jaisalmer. You are comfortable at 2 o'clock because of the mutual shading, cutting the sun. So that is what we also do, that block 1, block 2, closer together, so that you get absolutely diffused light and glare free light. Next. This is how jali, this is wrapping the building, covering the building, with the dupatta. How do you put that wrap onto the dupatta to be away from the hot sun? And jali, I say, it is cold, it's very hot, but I say, it's cool. So fundamental things, if we start addressing next, this is how we stimulate the whole thing, creating this courtyard in between. And this is the northeast, the lowest, southwest, the highest. Cut the southwest sun so that it doesn't go into the courtyard. Next. This is how mechanically we stimulate. Next. Put this jali there, and that's the effect of the jali. How you cool out. And they minded there were 10,000 people when this was inaugurated, and there was no air conditioning on. So perhaps that is what is required: innovation, visioning, new trends in architecture. Perhaps let's see that we create non-air condition. I have maximum daylight coming in, no light on, and that is how the trends of passive ways of architecture needs to be developed. Next, next, next. Sugna poultry, again in Coimbatore. Next, this is now, Sugna is for poultry, integrated poultry. Poultry is the egg. So I said, why not inspired from an egg, you make a building. So we said, okay, laid egg. This is hen to egg, laid egg, and this is the smaller side of the egg is on the northeast, and the highest egg is just like southwest. So this is how you belongingness. I say, oh, egg is poultry, and I said, yes, we create this, and this is the section how you create that sort of a sustainable architecture and also belongingness. And Sugna people feel so happy. Yeah, it's egg. So these are fundamentally some of the principles which can address. Next, please. Next, next. A club now. Today, yesterday I was talking to the students, parametrics, all that. How do you create that sort of an architecture? So I said, okay, we made this club in Raipur. When we made this design, then the client said, you make it. How do you make this? It became very difficult for us. So you need to be again comfortable in technology, how you create these type of ambitious projects. Next, 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 next. We made the mock-up. Yes, next, 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 next. Yeah, show this, yeah. So this is how you see the envelope being done and then being covered. So this is how the architecture is like a process, stages of work, understanding, the technology, the innovations, and then materials. It's like a feel and touch and material, which is very, very essential for all the architects to understand. You must play that. Next, please. I think we go faster. Next. So this Textile Valley in Erode, again a very ambitious project which we did in Erode. Next, just keep on, yes, yes, yes. Amudam Dairy, again a project where we tried to use exposed concrete and wall and finish this project in 11 months, all done up. Next, next. This is again, CRI pump building which I wanted to impress upon. This is the pump building in Coimbatore. Next. Now I will come because people more know me from the airports than the other projects. So I just wanted to play the journey, what we have been doing. Now about airports, I'm very fortunate we've done about more than 55 airports around the globe, Gabon, Gambia, Congo, Kazakhstan, Belgrade, other places also, and Nepal. So, next, please. Sound.
penetrating through the great heritage of India. Bhubaneswar and Puri, the twin cities, architecture inspired from the Lord Jagannath chariot, transforming into the modern new trendsetters of aviation architecture. Adaptation of temple architecture in terms of corbelling, arches, domes, motifs, jalis, sundials, showcasing and complementing heritage with contemporary architecture.
This is Bhubaneswar. We thought that when we did Chennai, we tried to use technology, where we have the largest cantilever of 25 meters, 80 feet. We are the first one to bend half a meter pipe, 16 thick, technology, steam cured box section girder in flyover. Then when we're doing this, I said, oh, it's becoming global. So why not? We said, okay, let's become Indian, which belongingness. So this is how, yes, come on, next please. So this is how leading from the chariot, Jagannath chariot, and how do you create that into the terminal building? Because once you come to Bhubaneswar, you're coming for Puri, going to Jagannath. So by itself, let the Jagannath speaks at the airport itself. So that is what we tried. Next please. This is how the Konark wheel is like a chariot. So you say Jai Jagannath here itself. So that is how it is belongingness. So purity of the form for the purpose which it is being made needs to be reflected. Next please. So all this you can, yeah, faster, all motives taking into this, just giving you the process. Next. Chennai airport, next. Yeah, show this. Because all of you have seen this, so I thought that you can just see the surgical things, how this was made. This is again from a bird, wings of the bird. Sound fast. Is my son. Actually, he's looking after the office now. This is a glass tube. We also did the metro station at Chennai and created this intermodal hub where the railways on the railway station across the road, the flyover, the metro and international to domestic airport are connected with the glass tube. Largest cantilever, I would say, in the world in any of the airports. It's 80 feet. B column, These are steam cured box section girders. This is the glass tube. Okay, next. So this is the wings and how we conceptualize, and this was done practically about 10 years back. Next, next, next. Intermodality, metro station, international, domestic, railway, bus, all connected, proposed. Next. This is how the concept is, maximizing daylight, minimizing heat gain. This is the central spine, which is green here, and this is the cantilever of 24 meters on the south. So that is how it becomes absolutely. Next, please. This section, you see, there is no try to reflect upon no conduction, convection, and radiation. No radiating heat also goes into the building, because the car park which we proposed was also with absolutely green soft surface. So this is how you practically see that the glared sun doesn't go in. Next, next. And then now advanced material. I was talking about how to create green hard surface. You create these polypropylene paver blocks, and they have sufficient strength where the car can be parked, and it is all green. So this is how, next please, this is how the car park has to be done. This could not be done here, but this is what we propose. Next, this is how, next, this is how vertical gardens were to be created, and next, next, construction, next, next. Raipur Airport, again, I am just showing you how the dynamism of structure, this like avian, the shape of the complete design, how the form work. Next, see this now. Here we are able to create this car park. This whole car park is all green, and this is all green hard surface for car park, and you will not get any radiating heat inside the building. Next, this is how terminal building. Next, this again avian like shape food court. Next, this is how the complexity of this thing, how you really do everything, and then every piece of steel fabrication what to be measured, computerized, and all the 3D work has to be done, and then you are able to create this. Next, 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 next. See how the mood changes. Next, next. Then putting the local flavor inside is like Bastar art, and making that water body, and all this is within the the airport. Next, this is how it looks from inside. Next, next, next. Here again we talk about water conservation. Back please. We have a lake, we have solar. Wherever possibly we create that, so that we store our stormwater and use it for landscape, for air conditioning and other purposes. Next, Vadodara, a very simple form, dynamism, how simplistic could be dynamic. So that is what we created. Next please, there is a video of this also. These are the actual photographs from inside. No false ceiling. Okay, next. Next. Next, please. So again, you see this, that we are closed down on the west. West is all dead facade, so that there is no heat going from that side, no glazing on that side. And here it's again south, So projection is there, and you practically cut the south sun. So that principally, all the specific ways, maybe it is a smaller project or a larger project. Only thing is the process is to be seen, that how you are creating this. Next, please. Next, east and west. This is a food court. This is now east, west side are wrapped. No practically window. Next. This is a food court. Next. Food court. Outside. Prime Minister inaugurated. Next. Agartala. Next. You can go faster. Again, simplistic dynamism. Play with the art and local flavor inside, interior. But large span structures need to be there. So that is how the technology and the local flavor can be put. All these elements are added into the interior. Next, bamboo. This is how we play with the local flavor, the bamboo here, all local effect of materials, so that it's inspired, locally inspired. You can come here. Yeah. My friend, yeah, please come. Please come. Thank you, Mr. Sundaram and Pranit. Thank you. So we just now narrating how the local flavor, the nature is also put it into the facade, and that is how in a contemporary manner. Next. So this is how this is visualized. Next. This is how the interior bamboo effect. Next. This is how we have actually done the local art here, the bamboo effect here, the local art here. All these are elements which we try to showcase, so that you say, yes, this is in Agartala, and it has my belongingness, and it has that culture, heritage values, and then it starts breathing, it starts vibrating, and that is putting life into a dead element. You get attached to like we performed puja, and similarly these are the idealistic ideas of our understanding. Connect with the local flavor, you put that. So next please. This was inaugurated in COVID by the Honorable Prime Minister. Next. Varanasi. Yes. Now, can you put, yeah. Okay. Next, please. I will not go into this. This is how Varanasi is a city of temples, and the performance of Aarti, Ganges, silk saris, carpets, wherein how they reflect all this into the art form, into the when you arrive by air. And this is what we shape out as the Ganges, and this by itself gives you the waves of Ganges, and you are at Varanasi. So how, next please. So this is how reflecting the various other things, the boat, the Sanskrit shlokas, how do you put that into interior? Next. So all these, the waves putting into this, boats, jalis, this effect, can you address that in a contemporary manner into your architecture, art, architecture? Next. So this is what we're doing. We put this boat here and the Sanskrit shlokas there in the fall ceiling, and it's hanging out there, and you feel attached. And then you see this pattern, the silk sarees. You make the fall ceiling. Next, more stronger, you see this here. So you just pick up the various things, the culture, the industry, the religion, focus on all these things put together and put that into art form, in design form, integrating various layers of design. And how do you interface various layers of design to make a complete architecture. Next, please. This is now again Tuticorin airport, which is under construction. Next, please. I have just brought some of the things I'm doing in Tamil Nadu, So this is again under construction, again local flavor. Next, a 500 crore project, how you put all this within the build form and creating the belongingness. Yeah, this is mine, this is Tamil Nadu, and and I feel proud of. So this is how we have diversity, but that's the character of India. Wherever you find things different, but we're similar. That's the interest part of it. Next, that's I was talking to you itself, and how fascinating. This like a North-South dialogue. But soul-wise we are one. That's the greatness of the Indian cultural great heritage. We think that every place is mine, and I belong to this great human settlement on this part of the world. Next. So this is all we're doing there under construction. Next, please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're putting nature. This. Now from airports, I just want to, I'm just skipping over that. That was the first proud, assignments of airports, which we feel very proud that that's why, people adore and call me as airport king, and we've done more than 54 airports. And today, minded, India is in new making in railway station. All the railway stations getting revamped, and they are becoming as the epicenters, district centers, because they already fall into the center of the city, and they are the land is most costlier there, and we need to facilitate that as last mile connectivity, intermodal hub, where all the modes of operation. Now, even the modes of operation are changing because we have no place on the road. So that's why we are also doing urban ropeways, in Varanasi, from Varanasi station to Vishwanath temple with 5 stations, and you can reach out within 10 minutes, whereas if on the road, you will not reach out even more than 1.5 hours because there's a lot of traffic. So the type of transportation needs to be innovated. We need to invent new ways and layering the city, sensitizing yourself where you are layering, so that it doesn't become an eyesore, it becomes an attraction, and it becomes part of the city planning. So how do you address all those things? Next, please. So these are about 40 of the railway stations. Next, come on. Next, please. This is the video. Just show this. Very ambitious projects, very large projects, like this is Bandra and railway. It's about more than, it's like 25,000 crore projects, There is like in people more. All these things are on the railway land. How are you going to see the cities of tomorrow? Like India of tomorrow. That's how this is, we have no place on the surface. How we generate spaces. With no spaces. It's now layering. We're adding another layer at 12 meters, and then you have the elevated railway station on top. The arrival, departure is separate. There are more of egress routes because the traffic is so much that you need to see that how the easy movement of people to be, away from the exit to from the railway station, and all this is happening. This proposal has been already approved by the ministry, and we're floating the tender for this. So this is again Havra, one of the very, very ambitious projects. It just falls on the river. It's like waterways, it's metro, it's railways, it's bus, all, and then intermodality. How do you connect? How do you create these, riverside, piazzas. This is what we tried at the railway station, keeping the heritage also intact. So this is what is happening. Chennai have more. This is under construction. This is the new station which is being now erected on the other side of Chennai Egmore, so that you have more of entries and exit to the railway station. This is what is the concourse, the center concourse, and then you come to the platform. Raipur, this is under construction. Again, about 600 crore project. Chennai Egmore is 1300 crore. So I am just showcasing you that you have so much of work. Even sky is not the limit. Never get afraid. Yeah, we have no money, we have no salary, we have nothing. It's like a gestation period. Perhaps an engineer can earn faster, as a package. But you would, in case you have the passion, sky would not be the limit. There's so much of work. So let's see. This is Ghaziabad, under construction. Again, a 1500 crore project, all under construction. Intermodality, last mile connectivity. How do you create all these things? Is what tomorrow somebody should not say, whatever we have done, it's all nothing, we have spoiled the city. No. Let's see, when we are now transforming New India, it has to have some language. It has to be global. It has to be comfortable. So this is how this is Baroni. This is Coimbatore. So, we're trying to use the land. This is in PPP mode. Again, very shortly this tender is going to come in. Borivali, again in Bombay, very ambitious project. It's about again 28,000 crore. PPP mode. All these towers are going to come in. How ambitiously we can use the airspace, on top of the tracks. Create the concourse. Because on the railway station, nothing but the track. So how do you see that airspace can be properly used? And they are all in the center of the city. So all these needs to be defined. This is what a new language to the cityscape is being created. Tambaram, next here, is also now getting absolutely renovated. Next. So this is Egmore. Next, please. Egmore. slide, please. I think you just keep on. I think we go ahead. Forget it. Yeah, next please. Next. Lucknow we are doing. Next. Surat railway station, very ambitious project under construction, 15,000 crore. Next. This is Surat. Next. This is Kota. Next. This is also Kota. Next. Next, Lokmanya Tilak in Bombay, again very large project, railway station. Next, this is Pune, again very ambitious railway station project. Next, Wardha. Next, just keep on doing it. Agra, keeping the heritage of the great city, so that it doesn't get distracted. So that is what we've done in Agra. Scope of architecture, they never get bogged up, and you can really win over. And see, only thing is you have to scale up capability and capacity statement. You need to be capable enough to deliver, handle such large-scale projects. And if you're capable, you need to make capacity building. How do you enlarge your vision and create that sort of a scaling up? Yesterday we were talking to the student. He says, airport is a very big scale. You need to come out from like a well and see that scale where you talk about holistic architecture, dynamism in architecture. And now I said the capacity building, because we're going to get 100 crores of urban population by 2040. How do you create that 100 crores to move around? Last mile connectivity, walkability, all these services needs to be addressed. Only thing is, then only we'll be able to proudly say, yes, we are a proud nation. Those are the ambitions. Next, what? Some problem? Okay. So I mean, that's why I'm just concluding another 15 minutes, if you can bear with me, because I've shown you the railway station. Now I'll show you how things are happening in waterways. What are the various things are happening there? Land ports, highways, then like I told you about ropeways. They see, the transportation system is now getting geared up, and we are actually, when we move to the urban areas, we need lot of intermodality. Like you go to Europe, you can just take your handbag or even your big suitcase, and you can move 2, 3, 4 kilometers from one place to another place without any much problem. Even I was in Italy, about just 10 days back, and I was very comfortable at age of 75, 74, that I can move with my wife with a bag, with my 2 suitcases on, and moving from railway station to my hotel. That is the type of last mile connectivity is required to be done here. So that is what ambitiously we see. Now done. So this is Kartarpur corridor, which was very ambitious project. We did in 400 crore project in 4 months time. Again, a LEED accredited building, based on Khanda, the peace, prosperity, harmony, oneness of Nanak, and that is what we created. Next. Again on oscillation. This is again Graha, platinum rated building. Next. This is how it looks, night shot from outside. We have a 300 feet high, flag mast here outside, so that the Indian flag is also visible from the Pakistan side. That we were seeing. Where should we put it so that our pride is visible from the other side of the country as well. Next. This is how And this place, Narendra Modi ji also took the selfie. Next, how inaugurated. Next, and we put the complete art, the complete travel of Nanak, 32,000 kilometers of Guru Nanak's travel from east, west to south to Makkah to other places, and all we have narrated this. We put the sculptures, we have put other things into it so that once you are there, you feel that you are reaching to Guru Nanak. So that is the type of philosophy which we want. Okay, next please, next. This is the Ityongkar. Next, 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 next. I think you skip over this. Next, next, next. This is now in Vizag. We making a ferry terminal. This is a ferry terminal which has now been started. Next, 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 next. The Paradip Fishery Harbor. That also we are doing. Next, next. This is under construction. Next. Now these are some of the institutional building where we see core architecture, where we have that touch of a build form. Next please. This is one of the university blocks which has been now stimulated. We created light, shade and other as per the requirement and making it absolutely sustainable. Next, 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 next. This is how we stimulate the building, see the shade and lighting system, wall ratio, glazing ratio. How do you put that? Stimulate, rotate the building, put it in a manner which is like, maximizing daylight, minimizing heat gain into the building, and you make it absolutely sustainable. So that is next, please. Next, next. This is how, next. How it looks. Next, next. Gem School in Kochi, which has been done, finished. Again, next, can you go back? This is how smell, touch, feel, hear, and vision, sensitizing with 5 senses. How do you create that? Then this is the backwaters. These are the courtyard, so that you get from the backwater, the wind goes into the courtyard, and you feel comfortable. Next. Next, please. Next. How the process of development, design development. Next. 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 This is the complete building. Next. Anna University here in Tamil Nadu, the sports arena, which was again a design competition. We won that and work was awarded, but it has been stopped because of some trees they're falling in that. So they need to get the clearance. Next. I think you can skip because I want to show something else. Next. This is how solar sitting. It has, 8 of the tennis court inside. Then you can even have planetarium session, making the complete auditorium into mini seminar rooms. Next. Next. Next, next, next. This is Congo Road Engineering College. Next. This is for a capacity of 5,000 people. This is the auditorium in Congo in Perumdarai. Next. Here the complete. This is now based on Kurar. How you create the shape, how you create the wings, how the 3 wings have been, created into the auditorium. Next, please. Next, this is how you shape out, and 1 wing, 2nd wing here, balcony here, stage here, and then next, it gets converted into a basketball court here, a badminton court here, a badminton court here, a badminton court here, a badminton court here. So it's like 4 badminton courts with 1 basketball court plus an auditorium for 5,000 people. Next, this is how, next, this is how it looks, complete. Next, next. This is how 5,000 students can reach out to this auditorium. Next. Next, how the DPI University campus which we completed. Next. Here again stimulation, play of Jali outside. Next. Yeah, next. Next. Jamshedpur city. we were very fortunate to give master plan of Jamshedpur city 2057, to Tatas. This is one of the only private city, 64 square kilometers, with 20 million tons of raw material coming and 20 million finished good of steel going out of the city. And how do you create this as 24/7 and greenest city? Next, this is like town within park, park within city. How do you create that? So this is how next, we analyze. This is Tata Steel, this is Tata Motors, this is all mixed use or residential, and this side is Domukha River, and this side is the railway station. So how do you do that? Next, we said this was when we went there. This is the green space which is available. So I said, what are the various other vacant spaces? We collected that next. And this is how we collected all the vacant spaces and made that into green. So now from one neighborhood to another neighborhood, you are walkable. So simple things we did, and this is how we gave the master plan 2057 to Jamshedpur city. Even, we covered the, green road, main peripheral roads are covered by the green on top and making the city absolutely green. Next. Memorial, next. Gopinath Munde's Aurangabad, next. I'm showcasing this to the student that these type of projects are very ambitious projects where you can put language, where you can put that sort of a vocabulary, innovation. This is the museum. You have green, courtyard. You have the auditorium. You have the central plaza. Yeah. Next. So this is how. Next, please. This is how the auditorium looks. Next. This is how from inside. Next. This is the outer, and this is side of the museum. Next, this is the section how to penetrate light and make this. Next, please. Then metro. How do you create last mile connectivity in metro? That is also we have done on more than 50 metro stations. Next, this Chennai intermodality. Railways, this that already expressed. Next, please. How do you connect this to the airport? Intermodality from metro to railway station. You are all fully connected. How from metro you can go to the railway station. Next. This is the metro station which we did at Chennai airport. Next. This is the metro station. Next. This is the metro station. Now I am coming to the last presentation about, I would say, the spirituality. How do you address? I narrated you Kartarpur, and now you just please. This is Statue of Oneness. Next. This is the video. Just show this.
Statue of Oneness and Institute
louder.
for Advait Vedanta, Acharya Shankar Sanskritic Ekta Nyas. The proposed site is situated in Omkareshwar, Madhya Pradesh, adjoining to Narmada River, alongside Mandat Island, primarily known for its Shiva Jyotirling. Sarvakarmani Mansa Sanyasyaste Sukham Vashi, Navadvare Pure Dehi Nayat Purvan Karya. Proposed International Institute of Advait Vedanta is based on principles of Guru Adi Shankaracharya philosophy. Our proposal conceptualizes the design by exploring the 5 elements, also known as the 5 Mahabhutas, through 9 doors of body known as Navdvar, to reach the 10th door, also known as the soul or the oneness. The center of the soul or the oneness is evolved from the philosophy of Sri Yantra, also known as Sri Chakra, which is also a sacred instrument used for worship, devotion and meditation. Sri Yantra symbolize Shiv Shakti through sacred geometrical pattern, arranging the blocks throughout the natural contours in different directions, signifying the 4 Pithans established by Sri Acharya Ji are held together through central focal point or block known as the meditation center. The central block or meditation center is the true significance of oneness. The hierarchy of the blocks emphasize the grid of 9 times 9 as per Nagara architecture. Shankaracharya was the one to give philosophy of Sanatan Dharma. The design ideates the philosophy of hierarchy among the building blocks placed in the pattern of Sri Yantra geometry, denoting the levels of enlightenment to achieve the one true self.
There, you find we had a lot of scholars, Vedic scholars, understanding the Sanatan philosophy of Shankaracharya and how do you reflect that. Then the north side Nagara art to southern Nagara art to Dravidian architecture, all they differ from one place to another place. How do you put that there, So that is how this very ambitious project, we try to develop this. Next, please. So this is how next. This based on another side where we have based on Om with the statue, next statue of oneness, next. Now because this is all Vedic and we're talking about Hindu architecture, Sanatana architecture. We're very fortunate, Ayodhya Mosque. It's like Muslim architecture, Islamic architecture. So me and Professor S.M. Akhtar, we designed this mosque, which is from Babri Masjid to a mosque at Ayodhya. Next. So this is what we said that how we can do a contemporary mosque, which is without any minaret, without any arch or without anything, but indicating the basic principles of worship, the way Islamic works. So this is how next. Taking lead from various things from the masjids, then the various fluidity of forms which have been done globally, the contemporary way of design of a mosque. Next, all this we studied, expressed to the work board how these things can be in a modern manner, and next. This is how it has a museum, it has a hospital for 200 bed plus the mosque, this thing. Next, how we designed the mosque, the gathering area and the play area. Next, and the play area for the women, and this is the section. And next, this is the hospital building for 200 bed hospital. Next, this is how and this is the existing dargah there at site. Next. So I just wanted to give these flavors. Now I'm just showcasing, last, these are another 5 minutes where we're trying to show you how the Indian brain, how the Indian portrait practice is now expanded globally. It's not transforming everything from global, from America and London or from another place to India, how the Indian consultants are also have the opportunity to work outside. We're working in Gabon, Gambia, Rwanda, Belgrade, Kazakhstan, or Nepal. So we're giving that consultancy there, and mind it, like next. These are the places we are working. Ghan Airport, we're doing now under construction. Next, this is how we try to put this. Next please. Next, next, next. The Center of Excellence at Rwanda. Next. Just giving a glimpse, so much opportunities to work. Never get, bogged up that there is no work, there is no salary. There's so much. Never get disheartened, Next, this is how Gabon Airport. Next, 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 next. Nepal, one of the largest, 20,000 hectares, 4 runways, dip between the one runway to another runway, 10 meters. How do you create, all that? Then we did holistic beyond architecture. We talk about airspace, we talk about ATC tower, we talk about runway design, access of runway design, everything, making the master plan of a green field airport. It is what we do, looking beyond architecture. We have team of all experts under one roof. Nepal is like this, only Gorakhpur. There is no other place from where the air can go. The other side is all, hills from China, and only from Gorakhpur, very small, and they have about 8 airports already in Nepal. How do you see that there is no airspace conflict? All these are happening. Next, please. Next. This is how 1, 2, 3, 4 runways on 20,000 hectares of land, and this is now we done the master plan. We're doing the DPR now, and the first phase will be very, next. Again, Turkmenistan, where we're doing the terminal building. Next. This is what I'm very happy that always I show this slide, because Dr. S.S. Bhatti, who is a triple doctorate, he was principal in Chandigarh College of Architecture. He said, I'm tempted to call Professor Shah as Patrick Gatz of India in sustainability. So that is what I feel. That's why I've shown you. So let's see that we contribute towards the sustainability, and see that every piece of architecture is self-sustainable. Next. So this is, we have Smart Habitat Foundation at a place where we teach the teachers, we teach the trainers, we teach the students. Next. And these are some of the books like Redefining Indian Smart Sustainable City. I've authored a steel handbook, kitchen, water supply, and some of the spiritual books also. Next. This is Seed to Surrender, my autobiography. I'll very gladly give it to you, Lokeshji. I brought one for you. Next. And lastly, let's see that we do net zero, beyond net zero. How do you create net zero off the grid, like Ottoman Park in California? All these things need to be understood. Go beyond net zero is the philosophy which we adopt. Next. This is how I met Modi ji, expressed upon how to create Indian sustainable architecture, smart development, smart cities, and he agreed to many more things, and we are into debate how that preamble can be made, where we say, yes, we have the belongingness to the place, Indian, and creating heritage, taking some inspiration from our great inspired heritage, and then make smart cities. Next, please. This is my office. Next, where we work, how we work. Next. These are the, I brought one A+D, which is fully dedicated to me and to my profession of 50 years. I brought this copy to give it to Mr. Lokesh. Next. Another book, Glitz, which has been fully dedicated to our profession. Next. And lastly, I say from Guru Nanak's verses, Pavan Guru, Pani Pita, Mata Dharsh Mahat. Let's see that we have the purest of pure air. We have the Mother Earth, the purest, and we do not rape the Mother Earth. And similarly, let's not rape our rivers, water, Ganges, other, and make them pollute. Let's see, these things are we belonging to us. If Earth, we cannot destroy the Earth. This Earth will be there we will be destroyed, the human species will be finished. So let's see that for our own survival, we respect the Mother Earth, we respect the water resource management, and we respect the air which is there free of cost to us all, and we take the oxygen that on which we live. So this is what, and lastly, please next. Yes, this is last view. This is how vision is. Nature is life, and life is nature. Let's live with nature, eat nature, romance with nature, hug nature, and smell nature. And you become beautiful, you become romantic, you become inspired personality, a touch of soul. Soul never dies, the body dies. So let's see how you inspired from your soul to soul connect and will live forever. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.